here we go. I'm now recording. So we are making the bead box today, and I'm going to put a little, what do you call these? You would think as much chipboard as I work with, I would have names for these things, but I don't. So I'm just going to call it a separator. If you guys can come up with a better word, let me know. But the separator, I will show you on the actual bead box I made. See if you look how they kind of flip up because of the chipboard. That's why I'm going to be using lace. And you know what would really be cool is if you actually used hinges. Now for these little compartments, you see how it goes up and down like that, because when you go to raise it up and you have your goodies in it, it's going to stack on top of the other one. So that's why I have a separator here and a separator here, because this drawer will not go down inside this one. That separator prevents it. Not that it would go inside, but just in case, I think probably this little edge here might go down just a little bit. So I put a separator, and anyway, that still gives you, you know, it gives you 4 compartments down here in these bottom 2, and then one long one if you have like long stick pins, if you want to put pens, you know, whatever, something long. Separator's a good name. Awesome. Thanks, Joe. I don't come up with very good names. Look at what I name my templates. I'm like just a basic. Yeah, yeah. The Vapor's much better. Much better. They've got vegetable glycerin and propylene glycol, and I have a mixture of both of them. And the propylene glycol is good for the throat hits, the real strong smokers, and then the vegetable glycerin is more lung hit. Okay, so getting off that again, I don't want to bore the people that, you know, have never done it or think it's repulsive. There are people out there that, you know, and I don't blame them, especially with so many deaths caused from cigarettes. I'm just glad my mom was able to quit. My dad died of throat cancer in '99, and it was an extremely sufferable death. And it had to do with, you know, alcohol and smoking and all that bad stuff. So you get these 2 main pieces, and they are the same exact thing, right, in your template. And then you're going to get a piece that is your bigger compartment, which isn't bigger, it's deeper. And then you're going to have 2 little ones. And I saved this one so I can put this one together. But this one's 2 inches deep, the bottom one, and then the other 2 are just 1 inches deep, or 1 inch deep. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your main pieces, and you're going to want them to overlap. See how much I'm overlapping? Overlapping. So from the edge of this one to this first score line, which it can be either way, it doesn't matter because they are the same. You want to go about 1/8 of an inch away. So your edge of your chipboard is going to be 1/8 of an inch before this score line. And you're going to glue that, okay? So I'm going to use this. I don't really use this glue gun often, but it is nice for Ustreams because it comes out so much faster than my Surebonder, which I need to get another Surebonder. This last one is a bad one that I got. I'm a bad girl too. I don't know what you guys are talking about, but I'll be in that group. Yeah. I was a heavy smoker. I smoked a lot. Enjoyed it very much. That's why I really didn't want to quit. But this, the e-cigarette is just so enjoyable for smokers that, I mean, and you even go through, if you've ever quit smoking, you know how you cough up all that stuff after you quit? That you still go through all that because you are quitting smoking, you know? Okay. But I mean, I wouldn't want to endorse or say this is good or, you know, just in case. I don't want to be liable for anything. So now I'm going to glue my big main compartment, and I'm going to perfectly center it in between both score lines. I'm not going to go by where the edge of the chipboard is. I'm looking at both score lines. If you can see, there's a score line here and there's a score line here. And I want it centered perfectly because this is going to close up over and over. Clap, clap, clap. Yes, your lungs are cleaning themselves out. It is so cool. Okay, so what we're going to do next is, I'm going to try to do it this way, and I can't see very good, but you can. And how we want this is we want, you'll have a line on your template where to place this, which we're going to place a hinge there. We're not going to actually glue this piece onto here. This is going to glue on our hinge. So what I'm going to do right now, let me just pull this back, is I'm going to mark the line. I'm just going to turn it to the side because I can't see what I'm doing. See, if I fold it up this way, this we want to be able to set nicely on top of that. See how it's just right above that? So I want to make sure that this is even on both sides, but you have a line marked. It should be okay. And I'm going to take a pencil and I'm going to draw right here on the bottom, because that, I'm going to glue the hinge. I know you can't see that very well. Let me pull it over here. See, that's where I did the line. I drew it on the bottom because my hinge, which I'm going to make out of lace, is going to glue right here, one half on here, and then the other half is going to glue onto the bottom here, so that this will sit flat, and then when I want to close it up, it will go up. Okay? So I'm just going to check and make sure that this, from this line that I drew to this score line, is even. Hopefully it is, but you never know, so I'm going to check. So it is exactly 2 inches and 1/8. And you guys know what an eighth is. Let me show you on the ruler real quick. Okay, so these little guys, these are the eighths. And this ruler does not have 16ths, and I do use a lot of 16ths. So on this, if you need to ever figure out what the 16th is, the 16th is between the eighths. There is 16 sixteenths in 1 inch, and there's 8 eighths in 1 inch. So if you get my templates and you see 16th, you know it's between the eighths, and you just count it. So if it's, let's say it's what would that be? That would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's just do 5/16. So 5/16 on the ruler would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Would be in between the quarter, and the 3/8 would be 5/16. You guys, I'm sure you know that, but just in case, you never know. Exactly. 16th is a half of an eighth. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is measure the other side, because, of course, I started talking about something else. Let's see, okay. But I think that stuff some people need to know. I didn't know what a 16th was, you know, back in the day. My husband is a paint contractor, but he knows all about building and stuff, so yep, we are perfect. 2 1/8. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 6 inches of this lace, and I really love to bind with lace. I think you guys know that. I have a mini album lace binding tutorial. And I just really love that it has strength, it has beauty, and it's really easy to use. So I'll cut these ends off after I get it glued. So it needs to be in half. But luckily, on this lace, I can see the line through it. I know you guys can't, but I can see, so I will know exactly where to lay this to glue it. And actually, I think I might put it on my drawer first. That might make it easier, so that's what I'm going to do. This is actually a pretty wide piece of lace. I should have gone for a smaller piece, but oh well. Okay, so I'm going to get my hot glue gun helper spatula, because when you're hot gluing lace, you don't want to touch it. And I mainly want to get the glue along this line, because that needs to be a nice tight hinge. Okay, just making sure. Is there any questions so far? I don't see any questions. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to make sure I get it on this bottom line first, and then I'll add more. Try to get it on there straight. And the cool thing about this spatula is that when you do push it down into your glue, there's no strings. You know how we usually push it with our fingers and we pull up and all the strings come up? It doesn't happen with the spatula, so I love that about it. And now I'm going to go in there and glue the rest, which I could cut it off, but I'm too lazy to do that right now. So I'm just going to push this where I started at the end and then go in between. Gotta move fast with hot glue, huh? Okay. See how it comes right off the spatula? So I'm going to glue, or I'm going to cut straight across here. Just make sure it's stuck down real good. And then now, when I go to glue this down, it should sit pretty nicely, and then it will wrong way, silly lady I am. It goes like this. Lucky I caught that, because then it wouldn't have worked right. It goes like that because it's going to go down and up. Nobody's seen that, right? Oh, I'm just using hot glue, just regular hot glue. That's usually what I use, either that or E6000, but I wouldn't use E6000 for this. So just so I can see where the positioning, because I can see through the lace, so I'll be able to see, but I'm going to want to lay this right in front of that line I drew, so it closes nice, like that. So I'm going to put a glue line pretty close to the line I drew, because I want it nice and tight up there at the line. And now I got to check this side and make sure that it's even. There we go. Just gonna, sorry if my head's in the camera view. And if you don't get it real good on there, you can always come under here and then glue. But it's pretty good. Pretty good for not seeing very well. And now I'm just going to do a line of glue right on this outside here where I missed, just to keep that down. And I'm using that Ad Tech. I got it a while ago because I thought, you know, it was going to be a nice fine tip. And it's not really that fine. It is compared to just the regular basics glue guns. But I noticed when I pushed the button, I would push the trigger and it would be like real tough at first when you first push it, and then really easy. So if I would go to push, I'd push hard, and then bam, it'd get easy, and then glue would just go all over. So I couldn't use that for. Now see how much nicer that is? And I'll show you on this one with the chipboard hinge, it just does not want to stay down. And that one does, so that works out. Okay. Yeah, with the spatula, you won't get the glue. Well, you'll still get glue strings, just regular glue strings, but when you're patting down, you won't get glue strings from that. Just your regular glue strings you would normally get. Okay, so now when this is closed, that will go perfectly over the top. Now I'm going to make my little separators because there needs to be one in here and one in here. And let me check and see if your guys' template has the separators. I think it does. Does anybody have the template? Does it have the separators in it? I'll just go look on Facebook real quick. Box. Okay, hang on just one sec. I want to see if you guys have the separators. Okay, no, there's no separators. So I'm going to make some. Okay, so what I do when I make my separators, because I want it to fit perfectly in here and not bulk out anywhere, I just make sure to measure the width on the inside of the chipboard. So since this is medium weight, hang on, since this is medium weight chipboard, it's actually a 1/16 of an inch wide. That's my guess, but that's what it looks like to me. So from the inside, meaning this side, to this side, it is exactly 2 inches. So I'm good with that. So I want to be able to glue the insert on both sides and on the bottom. And since this is 2 inches deep and 2 inches high, I'm going to have one that's 2.5 by 3. So just make sure, you're probably going to come, you know, if you've purchased a template, you're probably going to watch this. So this is what size you want your separator to be for the big one. We're going to have it be, do you guys remember what I said? I said 2.5 by 3, right? Yeah. So 2.5 by 3, and I'm going to need 2 of them because they're going to sandwich, so I have a tab on opening like this. So I have tabs both ways. Oh, I need to score it. So score it at 1/2 inch on 3 sides, which for this, it would be the wide sides and 1 on the long side. You know what I mean, right? The short, on both short sides and 1 on the long side. So 1/2 inch, 1/2 inch, and then 1 on the long side. I'm going to scoot it down, just do a little bit more so that it doesn't pop out of the box. So there we go. There's our little scores. We do that on this one. Any questions yet? Yeah, I have a link on my YouTube channel that goes directly to the hot glue gun helpers. Okay, so then I just cut, there's the little scores there. So I'm just going to cut straight across at an angle, just like this. Fold that way. And see, that should fit in there real nice, just like that. And so see how these tabs are all going this way? The next one that's going to be sandwiched on here is going to go the other way. And it makes it very nice and secure. Yes, I'm recording. Oh, I don't. I just cut across. It doesn't even matter. As long as you don't cut into your square here, it doesn't even matter. The only reason I do that, it's out of habit, because when I do usually cut in an angle, it's because I have another piece. You don't really have to do that. I just do it. I don't know why. I just do it. Less bulky, I guess. So see, this is what our separator's gonna do. Just like that. So I'm gonna glue this piece to this piece. I'm just gonna sandwich them together. I'm not going to be really precise on how straight it is when it goes into here, because, oh boy, somebody just turned the disposal on with no water. We are getting our backsplash done today, so I guess he just found out where the disposal is. Okay, so I'm going to glue this down inside there. So I'm going to do this part first, and I'll put the glue on the tabs and try to make it as straight as I can and as center as I can. Get it centered. I think that's pretty good. Just going to push my tabs down. Hi, Stephanie. Hi, Letty. Thank you for joining me. Us, all of us. Okay, so now because when I scored it, see how this isn't raising up above the box? It's flush because I scored it a little bit on the inside. So now I'm going to glue the other tabs just by pulling that out and drizzling my hot glue down inside those tabs, and then try to hold it as straight as I can. Hot. And now by having that separator, the box that will stack on top of it won't go down inside of it. Even though the dimensions are the same, because it's attached to the wall, this part right here could go down inside. Okay, so now I'm going to glue this side. I got glue strings all over. I'm just going to hold that till it sets. So one of these days when I don't have to watch Monkey, I'll do something and decorate it at the same time. I just got to make sure I keep my classes under an hour. Okay, so I'm going to make the next separator for this one. And because that is 1 inch deep, I only need it to be 1.5 inches deep because that's going to account for the tab that glues to the bottom. And it's 2 inches wide, so I'm going to do 3 inches by 1.5. Okay, and I can use this piece right here. Hi, Stephanie. Glad you could make it. So 3 by 2.5, or 1.5, and I need 2 of them. You guys can make separators probably an easier way. This is just, I like to do it this way because they're nice and strong. They're not going to go anywhere. So now I'm going to score it at 1/2 inch on 3 sides. On one of the long sides and both short sides. Thank you, Joe. And I'm just going this way a smidgen to make sure that the height of the separator does not go above the height of the compartment, the little drawer, whatever you call it. Not even a full 1/16, just a smidgen, because that will account for the height of the actual separator. I think of stuff like this when I'm making them because I'm like, oh, that's going to need to be a little bit bigger. Or that's going to need to be smaller, you know. So I'm going to cut these at an angle again. And then I'm going to sandwich them together and glue it in the little baby compartment. Fold my score lines. Hi, Mickey. Hi, Bumblebee. Okay, so these are going to sandwich together just like this and create my nice separator. Okay. Try to make it even by holding it, and then I can squeeze it and push it any way I need to before it completely sets. Yeah, that looks good. Open up my little flappies. And now this one's going to go down inside this one. I'm going to turn it this way so I can get this one even with the one I already did. Okay, so I'm going to glue this in by putting glue on both of these tabs. And I haven't marked anything. I'm just going to try to get it as even with the other piece, this one right here, as I can. So it really doesn't matter if it's perfectly in half. You're going to put your own stuff in it anyway. So there we go. Now I'm going to glue this side. Actually, I'll do this one first over here. See all that glue that just came out? I don't want that to be sitting up there. Yeah, so I usually score it 1/2 of an inch. So score it just a little bit bigger than a 1/2 of an inch. So not even a 1/16, 1/2 of a 16th. Just so you just are a little smidgen, because if you look now, see that separator is not, it's flush with the top of this. See that? It's flush. And if I wouldn't have done that little bit of a smidgen, it would be poking out. This actual separator would be up. Well, on the screen it's pointing down, but it's, I mean it this way. That little separator would be poking out a little bit. So that's why I just say just a smidgen. Because you do want it to be kind of even with the top, because that is going to prevent your tray above it from falling in to it. Isn't this such a fun little box? I love it. And the cool thing is you can actually decorate it, even though it's so tiny and compact. You can, you know, I put paper around the sides and here, and then I put this paper in here, and this was the, oh, what's that place called? Blue Fern Studios. I just wanted that paper so bad. And then you can decorate the top, and then I used a Velcro for the closure, but you can use anything. You can use a magnet, you can use a snap. Velcro was right in front of me, so that's what I used, and you can put a handle on it and carry it anywhere like a little purse. Isn't that cool? Okay, so now we got this one on its own hinge, and that's going to slide up nicely and fit perfectly above the drawer below it, or the compartment, drawer, tray. We'll call it tray, the tray above it. So when you are closing it out, you're obviously not going to go like that and spill all your stuff. So when you go to close it, you're just going to tilt it just a little and slide it right above, just like that. And look, when you open it, it automatically does it, because that lace is just the perfect hinge. Boom. Okay, so this one is a little bit more tricky, because this next tray is going to be attached to this side, but at the level where it's right above this one. So we're still going to do our little pencil line and mark it, but I need to put the little tray together. So this is the tray that you will get in your template and have it cut out, and it has all the measurements. So I'm just going to put a little glue on this tab, make sure that these are flush. This line here across is flush with the side, and also that it does not, that this is flush, both sides. So I'm mindful of that when I'm gluing my tabs. Mindful of looking at both of those before the glue sets and pushing and moving where it needs to be. Okay. Can you guys hear Monkey up there? Papa's watching her while I do my class. Hey, who else seen Do It for the Vine, Dean dancing? Wasn't that funny? I posted on Facebook. Do It for the Vine. He did a little booty dance. Okay, so now we've got our other tray done. Gosh, I can't believe how much of a mess I already have. And the way you will have a line on your template, but just so that you know and you can be more accurate if you want, what you'll do is make sure that this is exactly where, and I'll fold this out so you guys can see. You're going to set your other tray right on top of that one. And you're going to close up this side, and you will see that that lines up perfectly with how your lid's going to close. Okay, so how we're going to do this one is we're just going to, I'm going to turn this way because I'm right-handed. I'm going to put my drawer or my tray just like that, and then I'm going to mark my line. So our hinge is going to go on this side, and is that right? On this side, it's going to take me a minute. So no, yeah. So it's going to be, on this side and then underneath. So I'm going to get another piece of lace. And I'm going to glue it on the tray first, like I did the other one. And you can use like ribbon too. That'd be nice and strong. Some satin ribbon. Any kind of a material or fabric works really nice. You just want it to be light enough that the hinge will work great. Let's see. Can't stay. Okay, well, thank you for coming, Amy. Yep, I will upload the recording on YouTube. Okay, we got 10 minutes. I gotta hurry. So I'm gonna glue it to make sure that it's very nice and tight at the bottom. And then I will glue more after I get the bottom on exactly how I want it. And I'm going to use my spatula again. And just tap it all the way across to get everything in place before it sets. You can see a little glob went there. Let's get that with my finger. So now I'm going to lift this over and then do the rest of the glue. Monkey is having a fit up there. She needs her grandma. She needs her grandma. So she's been looking at me and being all smiley because I have a new hair color too. She's never seen me with dark hair. It's so funny to see. And my dog, Bubba. He was all weirded out by it at first. You guys, I seriously did this upside down. Do you see what I did? Oh my gosh. I gotta cut this off. I'm just gonna glue the next piece right on top of it because it's thin enough. How come nobody told me? Did you guys see that I was doing that? Okay. It needs to come over this way. Not above the tray, below the tray. Oi. Okay. Here we go. Okay, so I glued it like this, and it needs to go like this. Silly, silly me. Just gonna get that tacked down before it sets up. Just did that one line across there. Luckily I used really thin lace that I can fix it. Otherwise, if it was something else, I would have had to heat it up or just make a whole new tray, which isn't really that big of a deal. I think I can probably make one of those trays in about 2 minutes. Gotta grab that glob. Yeah, it's a double layer. Yeah. Nice double layer of lace. So this top one does not need a separator because there will not be a tray. Okay, just making sure it's still kind of warm and sticky, so there we go. So now let me get rid of that. This is actually a really nice vintage lace, vintage looking lace. And now, because this drawer is going to be setting right here, and I can see through the lace. I know you guys can't, but I'll pull the camera up just to see if you know what I'm talking about. So if I move this, you see the line? And when I place this over, I can see exactly where that line is. Now, normally, if you can't see it, you would just have to go by this. You would just have to go like this. Hold that up, put it in place, and then glue, which is just what I'm going to do. So I'm going to hold that up like that. And put some glue here. Then I'm going to use my spatula to push that down. Okay. Yay! Isn't it cute? Now all you have to do is add, you know, your paper, however you want to decorate it. So when you close it, you go like this, put this side up, and then this side up. And then you can either do this way, this one first, doesn't matter, it's totally up to you. And look how nice and tight those trays are together. So stuff is not going to fall out when you have it closed. So you can use Velcro, snap, button, and then add a little handle. Wasn't that? And look at how it just falls right when you open it. So like pretend I'm opening it and I'm going to make something. And I'm like, whoa, okay, here. Oh, look. I'm such a dork. Okay, I'm going to move the camera back above my laptop so I can see if you guys have any questions or anything. So let me put my hand over it so you don't get dizzy. If you get dizzy, don't look. Close your eyes, close your eyes. Hi! Wasn't that fun? And it's so cute and little, and you can make a bunch of them. Make one for each one of your child, your grandchild. I know that would really be cool for us if you could lock it up to put like e-juice and e-cig stuff in there. That'd be awesome. I did good. I kept it under an hour. This was actually, I thought this would be the fastest. I thought it would take 15 minutes, but this was actually the longest. It took me 45, or 55 minutes. I'm going to push stop record real quick.